My name's Adele Onyango, and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to this episode of Legally Clueless, and this is what's coming up.
My mom back in Nyandarua, I remember I had given her an idea of me wanting to quit employment, but she did not support in any way. She was like, oh, do you think there's anyone who loves their job 100%? You just have to bear with it. Look at the money. Look at the end of the day, you're getting paid and all of that. She had good points. She's a parent. She's looking out for her daughter. She wants to live a comfortable life knowing my daughter is okay. So when I noticed that is the attitude she has, or, that is what she expects of me to not quit, I didn't tell her when I was quitting. Until one time, she came to my place for a stay. She wanted to stay with me for a week or two. And I'm okay with it. I love having my mom around. But you see, if you live with someone for a week, you will know exactly who they are. I cannot tell her I'm on work leave at the bank. That's why I'm not going. Because she knows I took my leave early in the year.
That is part 2 of Loise Njeri's story. We're about to jump to that in a bit. But I do want to just first check in. How are you doing? I talk to you most on the midweek teas. So I have reduced how much yapping I do in this particular show, but a check-in is necessary, especially with everything happening in the world, both beautiful and terrifying, because it's not only the bad that's happening, there's some pretty awesome stuff happening. How are you doing? Before we jump into the meat of this episode, if you feel like you want to, you can let me know on the comment section wherever you're listening to this. I'm just doing a quick check-in with you as a member of this family. Okay, as you're doing that, I just need to give you a quick reminder before we jump into part 2 of Njeri's story that for Mannerless Women, episodes go out every single Thursday. The audio episodes go out over here, but if you want to stay updated with the latest freshest episodes, they go out as video episodes on our YouTube channel. You get to check out our awesome set. We've worked really hard, really hard. I feel like one of the things that we spent a lot of time on, way into the night, I'm talking about, okay, is lighting melanin skin. I was very clear that this season I wanted all of the African women who come on set to just be shimmering and glowing like the queens that they are. So we really worked hard, not only on the set, not only intentionally picking the colors that, bring out the mood we want, but also on making sure the queens look like queens. Okay. So the most recent episode has Kenyan content creator. She's also a lawyer and she's just incredible. She blew my mind when it came to talking about self-love and what she does to ensure that her self-love is all the way in the healthy scale of things. Her name is Tamina Semo. Please go watch that episode. It's live on our YouTube channel and a link to it is in the show notes. Okay, let's jump right into part 2 of Njeri's story. So just take you back a bit. If you have not listened to part 1, go to the previous episode so that you do. Loise Njeri took us through her growing up in Nyandarua, being raised by her mom who did everything, all sorts of hustles just to provide for her kids, from digging farms to housekeeping. Njeri talked about when she finally got what the society and the world views as a stable job, even though you and I know, not so much, but you know what I mean? Like a 9 to 5. Even when she got that, something just didn't feel right. And that's when she started doing laundry on the side. I don't want to give away too much on what comes next, but she started to feel called to make the leap from the 9 to 5 to actually growing this laundry business. Oh my God, I can't wait for you to hear how far she's gotten with this. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
And then the cold weather came. I think November, there's normally some rains and I don't have a dryer. That means I have to buy a dryer so that when I do a client's laundry, I'm able to put it in the dryer for drying. So still from that money, I think that small business bought itself another washer and washer combo with dryer so that I dry the clothes. I did that. So now you see I have two machines in the house. and a business that is not a business at the same time, as but I think I was okay with that until to a point where I felt like if I'm making around, let's say, 15,000 a month, that means I can be able to afford to rent a shop of 15,000. I might not have a salary for the someone I'll put there or any profits for myself, but at least I'll have a physical location. I'll not have people bringing their laundry to my house. Yeah, I'll have my home back for myself. So that's how I started looking for the shop. That was December last year, actually. Yeah, December last year, I started house hunting. I got a shop, and it was actually around the same amount I was making. So I was telling myself, I'll make sure I retain the clients I have so that even if this business does not, does not perform, I still can afford shop rent. And then I hired someone, and that is when I felt like they were not making sales or the business could do better still in the same first month. Now that's February this year. There was a lot of things that went wrong. I had to let go of the person who was working for me, and I started now planning my exit. Like planning what can happen if I quit. I was in the banking sector. If I quit banking, what's gonna happen to me? Am I ready to take the risk? Imagine if my mom learns that I stopped working at the bank. There's something about how we grew up or where we come from. They normally think if you work in a place like a bank, a white collar, my daughter is doing it. She'll proudly tell her friends back in the village, msichana wangu, my girl, my daughter. But if you tell them you don't do that anymore, you're now doing laundry for people, she might not like uprightly say it to my face that this is not a good thing or you're failing, you're not doing what you're expected to do. But I know she will think so, or it's gonna pressure her, and she's getting old. So I didn't want to stress her out. So I didn't tell her. But between the early 2 months of this year, I was able to transition now to quit the banking side. Yeah, it was one of the most scary moments of my life. Something that takes you back to, the things you had to, the changes, a lot of change. You drop a job that's paying you every month, and then now you start doing something that you're not sure it's gonna pay you, and you don't have any other source of income except maybe the small money you had saved when I was working at the bank. But you see now those savings are supposed to go to build this shop. When you're starting a business, it can drain you. Like you see this meme, in my bank account balance, I am a nobody, but in my transaction history, I'm a millionaire. Because money is coming in, it might be coming in, but there's no retention of money in that account. And especially when you don't have anything else you're doing, you don't have employment or someone funding you or anything else, you are also eating from this business. It can't be easy. So we did that. When I had to let go of the guy I had hired by then, I started working at the shop. And then when you're running your own business, you can do anything to make it work. Like you will go all out in terms of marketing, word of mouth. You will do so much to build that brand because only you knows how much it takes and what it means for yourself. So I also started now doing things like social media, TikTok especially, just to market my work, my services. At some point, when you start something like that and you share online, you get a lot of negative comments. You have to, I think I had to block out people who know me personally. I block them because I don't want your opinion. It's not like I'm living a lie. And even if I am, sometimes some lies are justified, The end justifies the means. I don't need an opinion right now on what I should have done or what I'm doing. I just need you to give me space. Once it booms or once it gets to a certain level that you can agree with, you can come in. So I think when I was starting things like social media to market what I do, the Mama Fua part, me like to feel myself doing the thing itself, cleaning carpets with brushes, doing the manual aspect, if it's washing shoes with my hands, washing clothes with my hands, like all of the raw content. I think I had to like I've told you, I had to leave out people who I know. I didn't tell them. I think I only told my best friend only. She's the one who knew I was quitting and I'm starting this line of work. And I remember her telling me, don't worry, just go for it. Huwezi fungiwa nyumba. You cannot lack a place to stay. You'll always have a home. Either you can come to my house. I think that used to give me some hope. But social media, hey, it can get dirty. But out of 100 negative comments, half of that will be good ones. A quarter of that, or maybe 2 out of 100, will be clients who will give you work. So if you keep going, those two will multiply to be 4, and like that. You'll always be able to black out whatever is not right and to focus on the client. So we started getting clients, and I had now to hire someone to help me around. So I had a lady, she was quite good at it. And then suddenly, through all the marketing we're doing, we are making good sales. We have a good number of repeat clients, and we are able to sustain ourselves. You see, now this is more than one person. Moving forward, you're able to add another person to support the business. And at the next time you look back, you're able to include an extra service to what you're doing. You're not just doing laundry. If a customer or someone comes to you, they want you to wash their clothes, there's a very high chance they don't even like cleaning their home. They don't like doing dishes, just general cleaning. So instead of doing a referral to someone else all the time, why not stop being the middle person and do that job yourself? So I think that is how far we are right now. It's still a very young business. I'm quite young in the industry. I think 1 year is young, but I don't think I regret. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. I can't tell you, like, I know exactly what I want 10 years from now, 5 years from now, but I can say where I am right now is somewhere I am okay being here. I am okay watching from a distance a brand we are building grow. On the transition part from banking to doing this cleaning jobs I am doing right now, I remember the day I wrote my resignation letter and handed it to my supervisor. And I think it's a culture thing or something that always happens in work environments. If you submit a resignation, they'll try to make you stay. They'll give you this good offers and everything, but you need to not fall for that. If you want to leave, please leave. Don't be that one person who gets stuck in a toxic relationship and never leaves but always complains. Don't be that person. So when I left, the employer, of course, will ask you, where are you going? What are you going to do? But I just told them I'm going to pursue a different line. I want to build something different. I didn't tell them exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah, that is now the bank I was working for. And I remember at least the shop was already set up. So meaning if I quit a day like today, tomorrow I have somewhere to report. In employment, I think especially when you're transitioning, you don't need a gap because you'll second guess your decisions. If you go and stay home, take a break of 1 week, personally, I think I'll overthink things. I might end up going back to where I was within that 1 week. So I already had somewhere to report the very next day, which is now my business that didn't even have as much customers by then. I don't even think we were having like probably one sale a day, and it's okay, it's fine. But that is the same day I started doing content, like doing videos, TikTok videos, any other type of content I could make. And I used to tell myself, this is part of the job, the one I'm doing now, the new job. Even if I don't get a gig today, if I don't get a client today, I promoted my work. I showed up. I posted content to give me clients, and that is part of the job. So I remember when I was starting, or when you're trying to start a business, everyone you tell will always be like, just start. I'll always support you. I'll come and support your business. But your people, your friends, your family, those are not your customers. And don't be that person who says they didn't support me. No, don't be entitled. Don't expect them to come and support your business. So I used to have a lot of people tell me, when you open that business, I'll be your first customer. I'll be a regular. I'll support you. But they were not there. And I'm okay with it. 100% okay. I would rather work with someone who I don't know, a stranger, than work with my friends. And I don't want to do that. That is why when I started the social media thing, I also blocked them out. Most of the people who we are friends, and I even told them, I have a business page, but I've blocked you. I don't want opinions right now. Once it blows up or it gets to where it's supposed to be, you will watch it by then. So when I told my mom I wanted to resign, when I was planning to resign, my mom back in Nyandarua, I remember I had given her an idea of me wanting to quit employment, but she did not support in any way. She was like, do you think there's anyone who loves their job 100%? You just have to bear with it. Do you know, look at the money, look at the end of the day, you're getting paid and all of that. She had good points. She's a parent. She's looking out for her daughter. She wants to live a comfortable life knowing my daughter is okay. My daughter has a good life in her own view. So when I notice that is the attitude she has, or, that is what she expects of me to not quit, I didn't tell her when I was quitting. Until one time, like, how many months in? 3 or 4 months in, just the other day, I think this last quarter of the year, she came to my place for a stay. She wanted to stay with me for like a week or two. And I'm okay with it. I love having my mom around. But you see, if you live with someone for a week, you will know exactly who they are. I cannot tell her I'm on work leave at the bank. That's why I'm not going. Because she knows I took my leave early in the year. So when she came, I told her, "Oh, can I come and take you to work with me today?" Now the next morning after she came, and I take her to the shop, to the laundry shop. She finds we have people out there. We have a whole shop that is running, orders coming in. She's like, "Oh, you work here? What is this the where you work?" I tell her, "Yes, I work here." And then she's like, "But I thought you work for this bank." And then now I have to tell her, I actually left the bank. This is what I do, you know. And being the African mother she is, she's like, "Why didn't you tell me? Is this a good idea?" But I told her, now the truth. I actually left the job you're talking about months ago. And you see, I've never like called you in for support financially or told you I don't have rent and such. It means I have become self sufficient where I am. So that is when I had to tell her. I don't know if right now she's 100% like relaxed about me and my life and knowing I'm okay. But either way, I think now we're in a good place, the two of us. She can see the growth. She can be able to see what I'm doing, what I'm trying to build. And right now, I think she's okay with it. Yes, but I had told one of my brothers, I had told our firstborn when I started the business later, like a month later, I told him, and the reason I told him is because I was not sure if it's gonna work out. I needed backup. Like if I don't have money for food, if I don't have anything for myself, at least one person who I can go to. For him, he was supportive and he didn't tell anyone. So it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing breaking from the system or from what everyone expects you to do. But until you do it, until you take that brave move and try, I think I can say the first one is always the hardest, like the first step to doing something, the decision to quit, the decision to start getting the first client. I think that is the toughest part. But once you do that, number two, number three, and every other client becomes easy. I don't think the village knows what I do. I know we say it takes a village to raise a child, but I think in this case, the only thing I know, I think they have seen social media, and especially the interview that was done the other day. I think a lot of them saw it because I could see them on. You see that old Facebook Messenger? I could see them texting me. Ile kipindi hukua saa ngapi? That is someone who has seen. Uh, I didn't tell anyone else. The village, I can't tell them because I don't want questions at this point of my life. I am in the building stages. In the building stage, you don't need negative comments, and people are entitled to them. We all can say things we want, but I don't think I can be able to get through that if someone said something negative. They can't understand me. The society where I come from, a lot of people, they're not able to understand us. And especially that is why I now started Gen Z. I started saying I am a Gen Z Mama Fua because I am not the traditional Mama Fua you expect. That is why I added the Gen Z part because I am probably not going to be well understood by the older population who are our parents. They will not understand. It takes someone who can be able to look ahead to see the future. It takes someone who has the courage to start a startup and grow with it, to understand who you are or where you are headed and why you're doing what you're doing. So today, after this, I have a few errands to run. The first one, I have to go to center to pick up school uniforms for a child I kind of take care of. You see, the parents are not in the country. They're not around. There's a lot of dynamics involved, which I am well knowledged in, and I am in that system. And I somehow take care of this child in the form of, you see, when I told you back in Nyandarua, I used to I used to see my mom take care of people's homes, their children, babysitting, the version of babysitting by then. You bring your kids to my home, they play with my kids all day. Yeah. So right now you find that part of the things I am doing, and yet I'm supposed to be a mom for or a laundromat owner, someone will give you errands to do. They might not even be in the country, or they might not be in a position to show up for this person or this child. But I'm supposed to go, for example, pick up those uniforms. I will pick the uniforms and then I'll take them to for amendment for Initwaje. I'll pick up those uniforms. I'll take them to the tailor. They have some adjustments to be made. And then I'll take them to the shop. I clean them. I go deliver them to the home where this child stays. And then I'm going to clean for the child. I'm going to meal prep for the next like 3 days for this child. I'm going to do a lot in that home. I think I've been working with this client almost a whole year right now. They're not able to come in to the country right now, but then somehow blindly they trusted me. There was the first time they contacted me, they were like, please do laundry for my child. They explained to me their case where they're not able to be there and why no one else can be involved in this. You see that confidentiality? No one else can know, not family, no nothing. No one can know about you, about where this person is, this child is, but you go take care of them the best way you can. I have a number of clients who I do that for. And you find them, these are people who are not able to take care of their. I have another one I take care of. It's an elderly person. You see the way young people in Kenya right now, there's these jobs they're enrolling to go in the UK, the States, caregiver jobs. Do you know caregiver jobs are also available in Kenya? I don't think a lot of people know, but I think I do caregiver. Like someone will trust you to take care of their elderly parents, special child, or a family member they are not able to reach at that time. And all you need for yourself is to be very professional, the confidentiality and everything. You do your work well, you get paid. And then it takes a heart to do that. It's not just a job when you're doing such a thing. It's not just a job because there's someone opening up their home for you, their life for you. So there's a lot involved. But that is what you're doing today. That is what I was telling you to ask me about how growing up watching my mom do what she does, how is it tied to the person I was right now? I am right now. I didn't think it is actually tied until the other day I was looking back and I realized I might never admit it, but I am taking care of people. I'm not just a mama for at this point. You'll find people trust you in a way that I cannot be able to explain. Someone will just leave with their house keys with them for like a month and travel. They'll be like, just be watching the home for me. Once in a while, go check in, see if there's anything that needs to be changed, you know? Yeah, and I think it takes a lot of trust for people to do that. I am in Thika Road right now. I'm trying to open a few other branches, but I'm not there yet. Financially, structure wise, I'm still working around that. But you find I am all the way in Thika Road, but I normally have clients all the way to Westlands, Kileleshwa, everywhere, like across Nairobi. And these are people who are willing to pay for the service as long as you offer good service and professional services. This is an area that is misunderstood. If I told someone I do mama for work, I think at this point I don't mind being misunderstood. That is why I'm even opening up here. I don't think I mind. Right now I don't mind. Just believe what you want. Understand what you want to understand. I am the one who knows what I'm doing. I am the one who knows right now I am 100 times better than I was when the year started, when I was working how I was working. And the other day, you see the bank I was working for actually approached me a month ago. They wanted me to do an advert for them. I remember asking the guy who approached me, do you know I actually worked for this company someday? They're like, no, I didn't know. And that was very satisfying because it means you are doing something that others are seeing. And you're not getting these jobs or referrals out of pity or out of anything else. It's because of merit. Like you're actually qualified for it. So I've actually worked with them after I left. I quit and everything in good books and everything, but I have worked for them after. It's funny. So let's demystify the comment section, social media reactions. As someone who decided to put their work online, As a mama four in a very, there's a very there's a way in Nairobi, if you say you're a mama four, at some point it became controversial with all this extras talk. People, especially who are negative, they don't believe you do what you do. You tell them you're a laundry lady, they don't think you do what you do. If sometimes you go through my comment section on my social media, you will see comments like, is this wash? Does it come with extras? Other people will say things like, hii ni mchezo ya town, meaning like this is a town play, like this is just a front, this is what you do to get your money. And they will try to imply either you are trying to cover some way of making money, or you are giving, in quotes, extra services to clients for money. And honestly, it used to bother me when I was starting, especially the social media. But at this point, it doesn't bother me. For me, I think the extra services I offer is comprehensive cleaning. I clean everything for you. I'll not only do laundry, I'll do house cleaning, I'll vacuum, everything will be clean. I think that is the extra service. But social media will always be social media. You do what you're doing, you go online, complain about formal employment, they will bash you. You try to create something of your own and then you share online, people will say, have something to say. You do it, you don't do it, people will always have something to say. So I don't really mind. And either way, you comment something like that, you're still giving us engagement. Either PR is good PR. The most important thing would be the lessons I've learned, which are two important things. Like I told you earlier, the first most important lesson I've learned as a young person trying to do business in a misunderstood area, I think the first one is always the hardest. Like I said, the first step, getting out of something, the very first morning after is the hardest. But with time, everything else becomes easy. And then I would also say, don't be scared to be misunderstood. Just take your path, run with it, do whatever you're doing. The world will adjust day by day.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. What an incredible story by Loise. I just love it. I told you in part one that this is one of those stories that is going to ignite the hustle in you. For me, once this story was turned in by one of our correspondents, I remember thinking, this is exactly the story I need to listen to right now. I'm in the process of launching 2 new projects. One is a completely different business, and one is an arc of Legally Clueless Africa. And it helps to hear stories of African women whose hustle is on healthy levels. You know what I mean? It's so inspiring. And I hope you resonated. If you're in a similar space as me, you resonated with the story. There's so many things that stood out for me, but I think the one that I'm going to take is how the first step is always the hardest, you know? So like the decision to leave your job, the decision to start getting the first client. And I think very many of us get stuck there in the first step, which is always the hardest. And we're stuck there because we're waiting for like certainty, or we're waiting for approval, or we're waiting for everything to make sense. Guys, just start. You make it better as you go. And that's what Louise's story reminds us, that sometimes you just have to move before it all makes sense. You have to commit to your path. Even when people don't understand it, that's their business. They're not meant to understand your dream and your vision. You are the one who's meant to understand it. Even when it looks small to the outside world, you know how big it is for you, even as you start and even in your vision. So you just got to stay committed. You got to keep showing up. And the world eventually adjusts. I feel like, I don't know if you can feel the excitement. For me, this story was so timely for me. And I hope it was for you as well. And if the story inspired you, first and foremost, please share this episode with somebody who needs that reminder to just start and trust themselves and keep going. And if you feel moved to want to share your story on this podcast show, you're African, we know you've got a story and we want to hear it. All you have to do is sign up, or rather fill out our storyteller form. A link to it is in the show notes, and one of our correspondents is going to reach out to you Thank you so much for rocking with this family and for listening to this episode to the very end. I truly appreciate you. And I know that you have every single thing it takes not only to heal, but to start. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.